welcome to another episode of our program. Let's talk about infertility openly. Today we'll be talking about a special thing, secondary infertility. Secondary infertility is what happens when a couple has had a previous conception and childbirth and now having challenges with conception. It's a very tricky one because people generally tend to say, oh, since I've had a baby by myself, there should be no problem. And then they tend to wait and wait and wait. And when they wait, future times of conception is compromised. Now, we should bear in mind that if I've had a previous conception and now there's a delay, at times it is because that delivery that I had, it was the cause of my delay. For instance, someone got married and within 3 months was able to get pregnant and has now had a baby and is now waiting for 4 or 5 years. The major event in all of those things is the conception and delivery. So if during the delivery process, I had an infection, maybe I had a C-section, or maybe I was draining water for a long time and I didn't go to the hospital. Whatever it is that can predispose me having an infection can also predispose me having blocked tubes, can compromise my fertility. So that's a very common thing we get to see. The other thing we can see is age. Like I always say, age has an effect on fertility. If you have a young woman that is 24 years old, her eggs are 24 years old. If a woman is 40 years old, her eggs are 40 years old. Okay? But for men, if you have a man that is 24 years old, his sperms are 3 months old. The same man is 40 years old, his sperms are 3 months old. So the effect of age on fertility is not so much for men as it is for women. And it's important for us to understand this. So age could be a factor. As we grow older, the quality of the egg drops and then fertility, conception may be an issue. Then for some people, it's a progression of fertility issues they had in the background. Okay, for some people, maybe she had PCOS, now she's had her first child and has gained some weight and periods have become irregular. Okay, so the PCOS was there all along, but the weight gain has made it come to the forefront. Then of course, we also have some people that had fibroids, it was small before, but over a period of time, it has increased in size. So for that class of people, it's because of progression of a disease that was there in the background. For some people, it's because they have a condition called endometriosis. So endometriosis happens because the lining of the womb is present in other parts of the body. And when this is present in other parts of the body, you can have mild, moderate, or severe. With mild endometriosis, I can get away with a conception. Okay, so if when I had my first pregnancy, it was mild. By the time I'm trying for a second one, it's severe. So that's what I mean when I say progression of disease. And what do I do if I have secondary infertility? I cannot sell it enough. If you are over 35 years old, in 6 months, you'll be trying to get pregnant, there's no conception, please see a specialist. If you are younger than that, in 1 year, you're not conception, see a specialist. Because previous conception or no previous conception, when we reach these timeline marks, we should be able to say, oh, is there a problem here? Let me see a specialist. Because the earlier we see a specialist, the better for everybody. The specialist very likely will require for a sperm test from your husband, we'll do a scan for you, we'll check the quality of your eggs, we'll check the lining of the womb, and when the results are ready, can counsel you best on the things to do. I know the fear of many people is that, oh, they will say I should do IVF. It's not necessarily so. The treatment that will be recommended will depend on what was found. The other thing is that, you see, as a marriage goes on and couples become more financially empowered, they may have more challenges. So intercourse may be less frequent, okay? The husband may get a job out of town, may even get a job out of the country. All of these are challenges that makes secondary infertility more common. And then when the husband is now ready to settle down, have another child, the wife is 40 years old. And then at 40, we know what the chances of fertility are like. Okay, so these are the few I can talk about today. I really hope you've learned something from our program. Please see a specialist. He will request for some tests, and from there we can know the way forward.